Welcome back, children. In this third part, and the last part of the video, Albert Einstein at school. So, children, in the previous part, I told you that Albert was seeking a medical certificate so that he could get relaxation from going to school and he could do whatever he likes. So Albert said that suppose if I get a nervous breakdown and then doctor, if he can write that it's bad for me to go to school, and then it will be nice for me. So Yuri, who practically understood the situation and said that I can't imagine a doctor saying that. I must try, said Albert, to find a doctor who specializes in nerves. There are plenty of them, Yuri told him. He hesitated for a moment and then added rather reluctantly, I'll ask some of the students if they know one. If you like. Will you? Oh, thank you, Yuri. Albert's eyes were shining. Wait a moment, I haven't found one yet. Oh, but you will. And if I do, I don't know if he'll be willing to help you. He will, declared Albert. I'm going to have a real nervous breakdown to make it easier for him. He laughed merrily. I've never seen you looking less nervous, remarked Yuri. A day or two at school will soon put that right. Albert assured him. Certainly. He had lost his high spirits when Yuri saw him next. I can't stand it any longer, he said. I really shall have a turn to satisfy any doctor. The children, Albert Einstein was quite eager to get the medical certificate so that he could get relief from the school. So Yuri said, maybe I'll be able to find a doctor for you. But it's very difficult that a doctor will write that he has got a nervous breakdown because it's a question on his degree. If anyone complains, then it's very difficult for the doctor. So Einstein said to his friend Yuri that maybe some friend of yours would be there who would help us. So Yuri said, okay, I'll find. And this made Albert a little bit happier. And then he said in excitement that for that I can have a real nervous breakdown. Keep it up then, said Yuri. I have found a doctor for you. You have? Albert's face lit up. Oh, good. When can I see him? I have an appointment for you for tomorrow evening. Yuri said, here's the address. He handed Albert a piece of paper. Dr. Ernst Weil, and he is a specialist in nervous troubles, asked Albert. Not exactly, Yuri admitted. As a matter of fact, he only qualified as a doctor last week. You may even be his first patient. You knew him as a student then. I have known Ernst for years. Yuri hesitated, but for a few minutes, he's not a fool, he wanted Albert. What do you mean? Don't try to pull the wool over his eyes. That's all. Be frank. Putting wool over the eyes means, children, cheating or deceiving. That's all. Be frank with him, but don't pretend you have got what you haven't. Not that you would deceive anyone, Yuri added. You are the world's worst liar. Albert spent the next day wondering what to tell the doctor, and when the time arrived for his appointments, he had worried over it so much that he really was quite nervous. So Albert had one of his friend named Dr. Ernst Weil, and the paper on which the name was written, and it was read by Albert. And he said, yeah, Dr. Ernst Weil. Is he a specialist in nervous troubles? Yuri replied, not exactly. But only he has just passed out of the medical college. And as a matter of fact, he only qualified as a doctor last week. But Yuri warned Albert, don't try to fool him. Tell exactly and frankly what you are feeling, and he will help out. So whole night Albert thought about that, what to say and what not to say. And just by thinking that only, he became nervous. I don't really know how to describe my trouble, Dr. Wheel, he began. Don't try, said the young doctor with a friendly smile. Yuri has already given me a history of the case. Oh, what did he say? Only that you want me to think you have had a nervous breakdown and say that you mustn't go back to that school. Oh dear, Albert's face fell. He shouldn't have told you that. Why not? Isn't it true then? Yes, that's the trouble. Now you'll say there's nothing wrong with me, and you tell me that go back to school. Don't be too sure of that, doctor, said the doctor. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure you are in a nervous state about that school. So, the friend of Albert Einstein children had already told Dr. Ernst Wheel entire story about Einstein. And when the Einstein reached there, Dr. Ernst Wheel was already having his case history. So he frankly spoke out everything to Albert. Yeah, you don't want to go to school. And when Albert heard that, he said, oh, doctor. Albert was quite nervous. He said, oh, doctor, Yuri would not have told you that thing. Because now you'll say to me, go to school, complete a degree, like that. But Dr. Ernst Wheel was quite an understanding doctor. He said, no, I won't say that. As a matter of fact, I know you are very nervous about that school. But I haven't told you anything about it, said Albert, wide-eyed. How can you know that? Because you wouldn't have come to see me about this if you hadn't been pretty close to a nervous breakdown, that's why. Now, said the doctor briskly, if I certify that you have had a nervous breakdown and must stay away from school for a while, what will you do? I'll go to Italy, said Albert. To Milan, where my parents are. And what will you do there? I'll try to get into an Italian college or institute. How can you, without a diploma? I'll ask my mathematics teacher to give me something about my work, and perhaps that will be enough. I have learnt all the math they teach at school and a bit more, he added when Dr. Wheel looked doubtful. Well, it's up to you, he said. I doubt if it will come off, but I can see you are not doing yourself or anyone else much good by staying here. How long would you like me to say you should stay away from school? Would 6 months be all right? This is very kind of you. It's nothing, I have only just stopped being a student myself. So I know you and I know how you feel. Here you are, Dr. Wheel handed him the certificate, and the best of luck. So, Dr. Wheel exactly wanted to know what Einstein would do if he leave the school. So Einstein replied that I will go to Italy and I'll join any Italian college or institute. So Dr. Wheel cautioned, without a diploma, how will you get admission there? So Einstein replied back that I'll ask my mathematics teacher to write something for me, because children, Einstein was great genius in mathematics. So he said that I'll ask my teacher that whatever I have learned, just give something about my work. So Wheel said, okay, fine, it's up to you what you do, but would 6 months be all right if I prepare a medical certificate of 6 months? So Einstein said, okay, sir, it's very kind of you. So Wheel replied, no, it's not like that. Actually, I have just stopped being a student myself, just few days back. So I understand how you are feeling. And then Dr. Wheel handed him the certificate. And how much? Einstein asked. Nothing. If you have anything to spare, invite Yuri to. He's a good friend of mine and yours too, I think. Albert had no money to spare, but he pretended that he had and took Yuri one out to supper. So Albert asked Wheel, how much money? But Dr. Wheel rejected. And he said, if you want to do anything for me, then take Yuri, your friend, my friend, and your friend also, to meal. And that will be fine. Albert had no money, even to take Yuri out for food. But he pretended that, yeah, I'll do. Isn't it wonderful? He said after showing Yuri the certificate. Yeah, it's fine. Yuri agreed. 6 months is a good period. This way you won't actually be leaving the school. So if the worst comes to the worst, you will be able to come back and carry on your diploma. I'll not go back to that place, Albert assured him. I am going to take the certificate to the head teacher tomorrow, and that will be the end of it. Don't forget to get a reference in writing from your mathematics teacher first, Yuri reminded. So when back home, Albert told Yuri that, yeah, I have got this medical certificate. And Yuri said and assured him that, Einstein, it's nice, because if you are not able to do well at that place, then there's a chance for you to come back to the same school from where you are running. Otherwise, you would have been in a trap, pathless. So Albert assured, no, I will never go back to that place. See, children, Albert was so sure that, and he was so sure on his mathematics skills that he said, I will never go back to that school. And then Yuri reminded him that don't forget to get a reference letter from your mathematics teacher. He will write something good for you. So Mr. Koch was the mathematics teacher of Albert Einstein. He was a different man, and he understood Albert well. He gave a glowing testimonial to him, means he wrote a very nice things about Albert, and he deserved that also. He wrote that Albert knew so much that he couldn't teach him anymore. He was ready to enter college. So, if I say can't teach you anymore, and probably will soon be able to teach me, will that be alright? See, children, this is the highest remark by a teacher. When he says that I'll not be able to teach you now, and now, shall I write that now will you be able to teach me? That's saying too much, sir, said Albert. It's only the truth, but alright, I'll put it more seriously. It was still a glowing reference, and Mr. Koch made the point that Albert was ready immediately to enter college. So Mr. Koch was so highly impressed by Albert that he wrote in the remark that Albert is ready to go to any college or institute. I'm sorry you are leaving us, although you are wasting your time in my class, he said. It's almost the only class where I'm not wasting my time, said Albert. But how did you know I am leaving, sir? So Mr. Koch was quite nervous and said also that Albert was leaving. And he said that no use of my mathematics class to you because you are already so much highly trained. It's waste of time. So Albert said, sir, it was the only class where I did not waste my time. But how did you know I'm leaving, sir? So it was the next question for Albert. You would have asked me for this reference otherwise. So Mr. Koch reminded, then why are you asking me this reference? This tells that you are leaving. I thought you would wonder. There's nothing to wonder about, Einstein. I knew you were going to leave before you knew yourself. Albert was puzzled. What did the teacher mean? His teacher knew from the earlier that Albert would not stay there. He soon found out, before he had a chance to ask for an interview with the head teacher, he was summoned to the head's room. Well, it saves me the trouble of having to wait an hour or two outside, he thought. He hardly bothered to wonder why he had been sent for, but vaguely supposed he was to be punished again for bad work and laziness. Well, he had finished with punishments. I'm not going to punish you, the head teacher said to Albert's surprise. Your work is terrible. I'm not prepared to have you here any longer. Einstein, I want you to leave the school now. Leave school now, repeated Albert, dazed. That is what I said. You mean, said Albert, that I am to be expelled? So, children, Albert was talking to his head teacher, and suddenly he was summoned, or you can say called. Albert was talking to the Mr. Coach, his mathematics teacher. Suddenly he was summoned or called by the head teacher. And head teacher wanted Albert to leave the school. It means Albert was expelled from the school. So when he asked the head teacher, do you mean I'm expelled from school? So head teacher said, yes, you can take it that way, Einstein. The head teacher was not mincing words. The simplest thing will be for you to go of your own accord, and then the question won't arise. So the head teacher said that if you'll just go by yourself, then nobody will question you. But if we will give you the certificate that you have been expelled, it will be a question on your performance. But, said Albert, what crime have I committed? Your presence in the classroom makes it impossible for the teacher to teach and for the other people to learn. You refuse to learn. You are in constant rebellion, and no serious work can be done while you are there. So head teacher said that, Albert, you don't want to study at school. Other children get affected. You always create annoyance, and you refuse to learn. You are a rebellion. You rebel all the time. Now Albert felt the medical certificate almost burning a hole in his pocket. Children, the author has figuratively explained the feeling which Albert was feeling at that time. That medical certificate which he had in his pocket, which he wanted to give, actually was now useless, and it was burning a hole in his pocket. I was going to leave anyway, he said. Then we are in agreement at least, Einstein, the head said. Thought of him and of his school. Then he stopped himself without another word. Holding his head high, he stalked out. Shut the door after you, shouted the head. Albert ignored him. He walked straight on out of the school, where he had spent 5 miserable years, without turning his head to give it a last look. He could not think of anyone he wanted to say goodbye to. Indeed, Yuri was almost the only person in Munich he felt like seeing before he left the town. He had come to almost as much as the school. Elsa was back in Berlin, and he had no other real friends. Goodbye and good luck, said Yuri when he left. You are going to a wonderful country, I think. I hope you will be happier there. So, when Albert was expelled from school, he said to head teacher, no problem, I myself wanted to leave the school. So head teacher said, okay, then we are in terms with good each other. Then we are in agreement with each other. And then Albert turned back and didn't see the school where he had passed 5 miserable years. Miserable means not good. While he was moving out, the head teacher replied, shut the door. But Albert ignored. He didn't want to see that place again. But one person he wanted to see, that was Yuri. So he went to Yuri and bid him goodbye. Elsa, his cousin, was already back in Berlin. Actually, Einstein had no real friend in that place, Munich, except Yuri. Then Yuri said goodbye and good luck to Einstein and said, you are going in a wonderful country and hope you will be happier there. So children, that's all about Albert Einstein's childhood. Means how he was when he was a child. Yeah, he was obstinate. He didn't follow his teacher. He didn't believe in the philosophy of his teacher. He wanted to leave school But children, don't ever think of that. Because there's a difference between you and Einstein. Yes, you could be the next Einstein, but Einstein was different. His IQ level was quite high. And his dreams were strong. His efforts were strong. He was quite sure that definitely he will get what he wants. And today the world knows what he was. So children, this chapter teaches you about Einstein, and you should learn from it that you must pursue your dreams. And if your dreams are seen with open eyes, definitely they will come true. So that's all, children. Thank you, and I hope you understand. For any queries or confusion, please contact me.